So yes, we do have a Disney cruise coming up here that we're very excited about. And, we're excited for the brand new ports we're going to hit up, including Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. When we do a Disney cruise, we're always excited for the ports we visit.
Yes.
But you know what also excites us about a Disney cruise?
What's that, honey?
The stuff that happens on board, right, Michelle?
Absolutely. And there are so many things to do on board that cover all ages. We're not going to get to all of them, but I think we're going to hit all the highlights.
Very good. Yeah, well, there's so much stuff, and there's stuff being added all the time. You just never know what might be there when you're on board a Disney cruise. And if you ever go on one of those longer Disney cruises, we've been lucky enough to be on a few long ones. They add all sorts of interesting stuff that aren't on normal itineraries necessarily. Of course, you could get stuck like we did on our Panama Canal cruise in March of 2020. Why does that date ring a bell? What's interesting about that date? Well, if you've listened to this show for a long time, that we were aboard a ship when basically the world went crazy and
fell apart.
Yes. Pandemic struck full force. Everything was closing down. And so we were not allowed to go into, or we also chose not to go into several ports. That meant that some of the entertainment didn't change. So they had to come up. The cruise directors had to come up and work very, very hard to figure out entertainment that they weren't planning on necessarily doing for about the full second half of that cruise.
Right.
It was a 2-week cruise for about a full extra week of that sailing.
Yeah. And obviously they did a great job, but it did allow us to even experience more activities that I guess they have in their back pocket. So.
Right. Unique stuff that probably we've never experienced if this didn't happen. And then we do. We are thankful for that for sure. And we're also thankful that we met Soul Duo on that sailing as well. Talk about an extracurricular activity. Check out Soul Duo. We're so excited to be able to be sailing with them again on this upcoming cruise.
For sure.
Paul and Sonia, the first time that we will have been with them both. We were with Paul for one cruise in December of 2021. But it was the same cruise that he first got back on. Sonia was having a little bit of a visa problem, so she was not able to get onto that ship. She joined Paul a couple weeks later, but we did get to see Paul, but we just haven't seen the both of them together, so we're excited about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. They are some really talented artists that perform on the ships, and like you said, we're just really excited to go be seeing them and sailing with them again. We've been very fortunate that they've joined our podcast several times. There was an episode where they actually shared what it's like to live aboard a Disney cruise and what that experience is for them, as well as sharing some of their songs as things came out. And so we really recommend you go back and check for Soul Duo being on any of our podcasts. If you go to our webpage and do a search, you'll get connected with those.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking with them here coming up about possibly a return appearance sometime in the very near future if they're available for that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing them. But let's go ahead. Let's get on to some of the other activities they can have on board the ship, because you can go on a Disney cruise and just have a wonderful, amazing vacation and not run out of things to do on every ship, right, Michelle?
Oh, for sure. And it really runs across all kinds of points and activities. Like there's some things that you can just relax and unwind. There's things that are fun, more active activities, good for the whole family. So there's tremendous amount of things to do.
So let's start by talking about something you were just talking about, very active activities, very physical, more active things you could do on board the ship. But let's start with something a little more relaxing. Michelle loves to relax and maybe a spa treatment or two. Michelle, why don't you tell some of our listeners about some of the spa treatments and other so relaxing things you can do on board?
Sure. I mean, it's not just unique to obviously Disney Cruise to have spa treatments available, and they could be massages, facials, wraps, rainforests. There, you could do them singly or as a couple. But I want to share with you one of the ones that I think is the best that Disney Cruise has, and it is limited to their smaller ships, the Wonder and the Magic, and it's called Alone Time. And what you do is you actually get this veranda room, and you first are outdoors on the veranda. They have a nice big lounger out there, as well as a personal hot tub, jacuzzi hot tub, and you get to spend some time out there in the hot tub or sitting out in the lounge. They bring you, I think they bring you like fruit flavored waters. Then they, after, I don't know, I think it was about a half an hour or so, then they do a foot soak and scrub. And then you go inside and get to have a spa treatment of your choice. And they have like 3 or 4 different types of massages or facials that you can choose from. And then when that's done, you get to go back outside on that beautiful veranda, and you get spectacular views from that veranda as well. So it's just such a way. I've always used it as a way to just decompress, with work being so stressful and everything, going out there and just having time by myself. I have brought, ebooks and read out there, or just looked out at nature and relaxing. But it is the most spectacular, luxurious treatment you can get. The whole thing lasts, I think it's about 2 hours. I should take a look at that and double check while we're talking. But it's great amount of time. You have time you're by yourself, time that you're getting a treatment, and then more time by yourself. They bring you some little snacks like fruit. It's all very healthy type of things to really just help you rejuvenate.
By the way, should it come as any surprise to anybody out there after dealing with me on a day in and day out basis that Michelle would be thrilled and her favorite thing would be alone time?
No, not at all.
Which I'm happy for her to get because she deserves it. And yes, we're together quite often, especially now that I'm working from home. So yes, alone time, very, very good. But it's not about that. It's about the relaxation, the enjoyment of it all. And she always invites me to come along for some of these spa treatments and everything. And it's just not my thing per se when we're aboard on Disney Cruise. But I'm so happy for you, Michelle, that you get to do those things.
Well, thank you. And you could actually do the alone time as a couple as well, if you prefer that. They offer that as well. So
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for any of the spa treatments, it is advisable to reserve those before your cruise, and that window opens up based on your experience, your Castaway Key membership or Castaway Club membership, the number of cruises you've taken. But not to worry, they don't always all fill up. And even if the ones you want fill up before the cruise, you're a lot of times can find them once you're on board, because people do cancel some of their plans. The other thing is to look out for discounts. So like Chase Visa and DVC often offer discounts for the cruises, especially on port days, that you can get treatments there and get a pretty significant discount, like a 20% discount knocked off. So be sure to look for those as well.
Mm-hmm. And obviously this is something that is with an extra charge. So It is going to be something on top of your cruise price. It's not something free. They do offer some free things that go on there. You can check, you're going to want to check your Disney Cruise Line app to see what is available there. You never know what you might run into. And of course you can go in there and you could work out and get some exercise and try and burn off all the calories you're going to put on with all the great food you're going to eat on board the ship. But yeah, that's great. And like I said, the spa is not necessarily for me, but it is for a lot of people, especially when you just want to get away and relax. And Michelle likes to do that often when we're on a nice long sailing for sure.
Yes, exactly. But there are some other fun things that we like to do to kind of unwind.
Yes.
Unwind
with a little wine. Yeah, of course. There's one of the best things and one of the most fun things. Again, additional charge. It's know that going in, are some of the tastings and mixology classes and so forth that they have on board. They have them throughout the cruise. They have so many different styles. It's virtually anything that you enjoy, adult beverage wise, they will have available for you to sample in some way, shape, or form. Just like with the spa treatments, they're best booked ahead of time based on your Castaway Club status. But a lot of times, they some of the most popular ones will go early, but a lot of times things open up or there will be some availability on board. I always suggest if there's something you really want to go by there on the day of when it's happening, the time of, because sometimes people just don't show up and they'll be happy to sell you that spot. If they have a table already set up with glasses and everything and people didn't show up, they'll sell you that spot on that point. So
Right.
give it a shot. No guarantees on that, but if you didn't get it for whatever reason, weren't able to reserve it, but you really wanted to do it, it can't hurt to go by. But yeah, they have so many that take place in the various lounges throughout the Disney ships. They kind of try and focus on what the beverage is that you're trying, and then they try and make it kind of be shaped that way. So you kind of feel like there's that ambiance there when you're having them. But they have so many to go from. I mean, they have wine tastings, of course, champagne tastings, all sorts of different alcohol tastings, rum, bourbon, whiskey, martini tasting, mixology, where they're making up all sorts of interesting mixed drinks for you to try. They're all available for you, and they're all fun. And we have not been disappointed ever with a tasting on board a Disney cruise, right, Michelle?
Yeah, they even have a chocolate and liqueur tasting
Yes.
a lot of times.
Which is Michelle's favorite. And she mentions that because she often talks about how I want to do multiple of that same tasting on board the ship. I'm like, isn't one enough? I love it too, but we don't need to do 2 or 3 on the same cruise. It's a 3-day cruise. We're not going to do chocolate and liqueur tasting on 3 times on the cruise.
No. But once is fun.
But once is fun. And we do almost we have one booked for this sailing as well. It's one of our favorites. We've done the wine tasting, we've done mixology, we've done the champagne tasting, all great. There's some other ones we thought about. The rum tasting sounds interesting to me as well. We will check out more of those. And one thing about it is they're hosted by the staff there on board the cruise, and they're very, very knowledgeable on what they're talking about, whether it be wines, whether it be champagnes, whether it be the various other adult beverages, the various liqueurs that you could sample on board. They know their stuff, and oftentimes there's sommeliers from like Palo or from places like Enchanté or Remy. So they are the people that really, really have delved deeply into this, and they understand it, and they know why it's great and why you should enjoy it and what pairs well with these different drinks.
Right. And we always find that they, one, you can tell they sincerely want it to be a fun experience for the people that they're having this, that they're hosting for. But the second thing is you can tell that they have a lot of pride, so like you said, it could be the sommelier that is doing the champagne tasting. It could be a lead bartender who's doing the mixology class or the martini tasting class. And so you can tell that they have a lot of pride in what they do. And the other thing is that's great is they bring because it's different people doing it, they all bring something unique to the experience.
And also, I know like some of these, especially like wine or champagne tastings, can seem a little intimidating to somebody who maybe likes wine, but has never really done one of these or doesn't know a lot about wine or whatever. And it's not that way. They are very down to earth, and they really explain to you why these all work, and there'll be wines and other types of liquors that you may enjoy or may not, but there's bound to be something that's going to hit your palate, at least one that is going to be great. It's worth trying. And again, they do it in a very comfortable setting. They will make you feel very comfortable while you're there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think the first time we went to go do a champagne tasting, we were kind of concerned, is it going to, this was, long ago, but we were like, is it going to be a little bit intimidating to go there? But no, it wasn't at all. And they give you a sufficient amount of alcohol that, you might feel things afterwards, but not where you're drunk, and so it does give that nice balance.
Yeah, so definitely recommend if you like an adult beverage, if you like some of these things, it's worth it looking into. Again, extra fee involved, and it varies on the fee depending on the popularity and the type of liqueurs you're trying or wines or whatever. And I'm going to tell you it's the samples of some of the wines I know specifically and some other things. You're going to get some stuff to sample. Now, again, they're tastings. You're not going to get a full glass of wine for any one thing, but you are going to sample some things that are extremely high priced that you probably aren't going to buy a glass of or a bottle of on board the ship. But if you want to sample it and get a chance to try it, this is your opportunity to do so.
Yeah, very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
So what else have we got going on? Lots of fun for the whole family, right, Michelle?
Right. And I know the first two things that we kicked off were things that you had to pay more, but there was a lot of other fun activities that are family focused or some adult focused, but they don't include any additional charges. They're included with the fee of going on the cruise. And that's a lot of the contests and games like trivia, bingo, game shows.
Bingo comes with an extra cost.
Well, yeah, bingo comes with an extra cost. Yeah. But trivia and game shows and, and they also have such a variety of types of trivia that hit for a lot of people. They have Star Wars trivia, Marvel, Disney parks, Disney tunes. A lot of times we've gone with Disney tune trivias where they actually have somebody there playing a keyboard doing, the initial part of the song or portion of the song that you have to guess. And sometimes they usually have like an extra credit of which film or whatever that it came through. That makes it a lot more even interactive with the audience. And then they also offer game shows that, some are family focused that everybody can get involved with. They also have some at night that are adult focused, like they have a match your mate, which is kind of like the old newlywed game.
Yeah.
And they actually get volunteers from the audience that's in the lounge and that come for this. And like usually they have somebody who's not married or, or engaged, newly married, and another couple that may have been married for quite a long time.
And it's always hilarious.
It is.
Because you just never know what's going to come from these people, for sure.
Right. And, it's funny because we've gone a couple times. And I remember the very first time I went, I thought, this is just going to be kind of weird listening to other people. But actually, the whole group gets involved. Everybody enjoys it. The hosts are always bring a lot of laughter and humor to it. So it's definitely worth checking out there. There's also some, I'll call them hidden gems. They're maybe things that people don't know about as much or take on as much that are available, like especially for longer cruises, they'll have cooking demos. And when I say longer, I mean like, a week. It doesn't have to be necessarily a 2-week thing. But they also often will have ship tours. Some of them are specific to the art of the ship, that what were the themings, etc. There's a great game in the newer ships, so the ones that were after the Wonder and the Magic, and that's the Midship Detective Agency. And that is just such a hoot. You become a detective, you get a badge that has a QR code kind of associated with it. And you go to these, what look like pictures on the wall, but you actually activate them and they come to an animation and give you clues that you're trying to solve, some type of crime, find the criminal or whatever. A lot of fun for any age. A lot of times you can find great animation classes, craft classes, anything like that, that a lot of times people don't always look for or take part in.
Yeah, again, you're going to want to have the Disney Cruise Line app because it's all laid out there, everything that goes on during the day. And they add stuff regularly, so refresh every day because sometimes they add things that they weren't expecting to have on there originally and they'll throw them on there last minute. So keep refreshing. You never know what might pop up. But yeah, we love doing the trivia. They do music trivia that's not Disney, like 80s trivia, 70s music trivia, whatever. They do general knowledge trivia as well. So, even if you're not a super Disney aficionado, they will do some other things that you may be appreciative of as well. So you can have family members that, obviously you're aboard a Disney cruise. There's probably somebody in the family that loves Disney, but maybe not everybody does. Well, there's stuff for them to do as well.
Yeah, good point. They also a lot of times too will sometimes put what level of questions, like a level 1 or level 2, so you'll know if it's something that is a level 2 of, let's say, Disney parks. It may have much more challenging type of trivia questions, whereas other ones that are, especially if it's saying fun for all family members, then it's more general knowledge of that topic. So just, take a look at what they have to offer in their description as well.
Right. And don't forget, if you're on a themed cruise, there's always a day or maybe multiple days where there's something going on based on those themes. Like we're about to go on a Halloween on the High Seas cruise. And so there's going to be trick-or-treating and costumes for at least one day. And they have all sorts of other things that happen revolved around Halloween on that sailing. So if you're within that time period, that goes on. The Very Merry sailings, they do a lot of holiday type themes as well. And Santa shows up there, but apparently he has time when making toys to just, be out in the Bahamas or the Caribbean and just stop by and greet
He's
guests.
very magical.
It's amazing how he can do that. It's really cool. And of course, there's the Marvel Day at Sea, the Pixar Day at Sea, where they do special things revolved around the Marvel heroes or the Pixar characters, etc. But even on a cruise that's none of those things, you have Pirate Night on most of the sailings. There's Pirate Night where you'll be surprised at how many of your fellow guests on board the ship will be decked out to the nines in their pirate gear, because it's fun and everybody gets involved and it's a good time. And even if not, they give you bandanas that you can put on and little gold coins that are chocolate inside the gold coins, but just kind of fun to play along with the pirate fun. You can bound, you can fully deck out in these costumes and enjoy it. And it all culminates with a show on deck and fireworks at night. Again, still the only cruise line at sea that has fireworks at night. No extra cost for that. They have their own nighttime spectacular on board every Disney cruise, right, Michelle?
Yeah, and it's just amazing. And, those parties are well worth the effort to check out because, they actually put on like a little stage show along with the fireworks to complement it.
Right. And there's other things like there's the movies, first run movies that are in the theater. If they're a Disney film, you'll be able to watch them on board the ship. If you happen to be there on the night a film debuts in the theaters, guess what? It debuts on a Disney Cruise Line ship as well. You'll be able to go to the Buena Vista theaters or the other theaters, but also a lot of times for those big showcases, they will put those right in the Walt Disney Theater, the main theater aboard the ship.
Yeah, so you're not missing out on, I'm going on a cruise just when something is about to, hit the theaters. You get to experience it in a theater at on a Disney cruise.
And they're all available. There'll be movies like we're looking forward to seeing Inside Out 2 again. Yes, it's been in the theaters for a long time. It's already available on digital. You can purchase it right now. We are looking forward to seeing it again on board the Disney cruise coming up here very, very soon. But they will have other films as well that you can check out while you're on board, if you so desire, if that's what you want to do. But entertainment, Disney does it like nobody else. The shows, the stage shows, don't miss the stage shows when you're on board. It doesn't matter which ones you like. There are some that are focused on basically the Disney films themselves. Like we're going to see the one based on Tangled on this cruise coming up on the Disney Magic. We've seen Aladdin. We've seen Beauty and the Beast. We've seen Frozen. Real men love Frozen. You know that. So they are all there, but they also have really unique, interesting things that bring on a lot of the Disney characters you love, but it's all wrapped around a story that talk about tugging on the heartstrings. Every single time I see one of those shows, I'm a mess at the end of it because they really know what they're doing and they entertain all at the same time. And while you get to see all your favorite characters and hear some of your favorite songs.
Yeah, and they have very talented actors, singers, dancers involved in those shows that it's really amazing.
Yeah, it's not unheard of for people to start aboard a Disney Cruise Line ship and eventually make their way to either Broadway or touring companies for
Right.
some of these big musicals that you know and love, some of the big shows around. So
Yeah.
you may be seeing somebody getting their start before they make it big at some point.
Yeah. They also have some other activities that are a little bit more intimate than some of the stage shows that you could do it as well. For example, they do have like the silent DJ, or some people call it silent disco, or family dance parties. It's really a great way to, like I said, maybe in a smaller venue, get to have some fun together.
Yeah, they do that. The silent DJ or silent disco, depending on how you want to call it, is always fun. And it's fun even if you're not somebody who likes to dance. If you don't know what this is, everybody puts on headphones and there are like 4 channels on there and they're all playing a different music. No one can hear what the other people are listening to. So there's a bunch of people on the dance floor dancing to various different songs. Some you'll notice, okay, they're listening to the same thing or whatever, but you just never know. And it's hilarious to watch as people get down to basically what looks like nothing because no one can hear the sounds or whatever. So it's entertaining one to take part in, absolutely, especially if you like to dance. And by the way, you're on a Disney cruise. Most of these people, 99.9% of these people, you will never see again in your lifetime. So go ahead and get out there and have fun and dance like no one's watching, even though people are watching. But yeah, it's also fun to just sit there and watch people and see them having a good time at this dance party that's silent.
Right. Yeah. So like you said, everybody's got headphones on and are listening to different songs. There is a DJ. Everybody hears the DJ together. So, and you can, sometimes you see it's color coded by lights sometimes. So you can kind of see if a particular group is going, you're like really getting wild or excited. It's a really cool song.
I gotta switch over to blue. The blue group's got something going on there.
Yeah. But not only will you unlikely see these people ever again in your life, trust me, most of the people don't, including ourselves, don't really know how to dance here, but it's just getting out there and moving, and it's a lot of fun. And, the kids are there a lot of times too. I mean, sometimes they'll have this set for adults only, and other times on the cruise they'll have it where everybody can go, and you'll see little kids dancing with the headphones on, and it's just so cute.
Mm-hmm. By the way, just a little inside note for us here at home. Oftentimes, I told you I work from home 2 out of every 3 weeks. And so Michelle will be over here at our studio office computer. I'll be over on my work computer. And during my work day, I'm working on things, but every once in a while I need to take phone calls. But what I'll do is I'll put in an earbud so I can listen to a little music just during the day at a low level that I can still talk with people. I can still put on a phone and talk to people on the phone if I need be. But Michelle will often see me doing a little move, shaking my head or whatever. And she'll like, what is that about? I'm like, sorry, honey, it's silent DJ every single day in here for me when it's going on. So
exactly.
I've thought about at some point doing a thing where like Michelle videos me and like try and figure out what song Tom is listening to by how his moves at this. And maybe someday that might be a video that comes out. We'll see.
That could be hilarious.
We'll see.
Yes.
Anyway, it's a lot of fun, but yeah, there's those silent, but there's also the real music where everybody's hearing it. And yes, they have stuff for adults. They have stuff for families where you can go and have a good old time and cut loose and just enjoy yourself. And they often go late into the evening, and so everybody can have a good old time. They have a pirate dance party and everything too. Oftentimes it's a lot of fun. Everybody's in their outfits and just enjoying it. So definitely take that all in. The other thing is to take in is like we talked about already, our friends, Paul and Sonia from Soul Duo, the entertainment on board, not even just talking about the main showcase theaters, they're the piano players that will be playing in like Keys or the Cadillac Lounge, or there's many other lounges, so forth, that have those, some of the other, different musicians that will be playing in the atrium or playing up on the pool deck or whatever. They are worth your time to go check out because they all do excellent shows, and they go through they hit a lot of different genres. So there's bound to be some sort of music that you'll like depending on what you're feeling like for that evening or that day.
Yes, and in the lounges, they do like to. They're good at reading the room, but if the crowd is really into it, they try to get interactive with people in the crowd and take requests, etc. So they are also very talented artists that are aboard, like you said, doing the musicians in the lounges, etc.
Right. So definitely check them out because they do a fantastic job of putting out shows regularly for you to sample for yourself. So definitely see those entertainers. They're very, very good. We have not been disappointed with many entertainers on board a Disney cruise. That's for sure. So going to wrap it up here. There's so much to do. We're going to miss a lot of things here because there's so much to do on board a Disney cruise. So many things to do. You'll be surprised if you've never been on before. You may be surprised even if you've been on to see, wow, this is going on and that's going on. And I've never seen that before because they're adding stuff all the time. The cruise directors, the whole cruise directing team, they do a fantastic job of putting this all together. Before we wrap it up though, Michelle, I'd like to know kind of what are your favorite, maybe couple of things that you like to do while you're on board a Disney cruise?
Well, I think my top two would be, well, the alone time spa, if that's available on the cruise, is so amazing. And then I would have to say, I love the trivia, especially when it relates to Disney parks or Disney tunes. Personally, I just love those trivias. I like going on trivias that do the 80s because I know you're going to do great and will probably win.
Well, at least come close.
Yeah. But anyways, what about you? What are your two favorites?
I like the trivia too. I love the entertainment. I'm all about the shows. The stage shows always blow me away, and they could be shows that I've seen, 8-10 times, and they still are enjoyable, and they often will still bring a tear to my eye, especially those ones when you're getting near the end of the sailing and you're already a little bit on edge because you're getting near the end of your vacation, and then they just pull out this Disney magic at the end, and it's like, oh, ooh, ooh. I love the entertainment, but that includes everybody that puts it, the whole entertainment staff. That includes all the different musicians that are on board the ship. I enjoy it all. Love the movies that they put on board. I love, going through and like, okay, can we fit this movie into our plans along with everything else we're going to do? And I do love a good tasting. I mean, it's a little extra to pay, but it's a good tasting.
Exactly.
And I also love like Palo. Again, extra money, but I love eating at Palo. Or when we really, really splurge and go to like Remy.
Right.
Those are such amazing evenings. But more than anything else, I say what I love the crew members, the cast members on board the ship. They are all so wonderful, personable, and they go out of their way to make sure you have a wonderful, wonderful cruise vacation.
That's a very good point. And you bring up Palos as well. I mean, like I said, we weren't going to cover everything in here. We didn't talk about character greetings, meet and greets, and the different fine dining that they have, etc. So there is more than what we talked about here. But, I think what we tried to really focus on are things that you could solidly plan on for a great cruise to relax, unwind, and then also bring out and have the fun.
Yeah. I guess I should have mentioned that because that is another one of my favorite things about it. I mean, obviously there's the set meet and greets for characters, but just the random turning a corner around a hall and there's Rapunzel and you get a selfie with Rapunzel or something along those lines is especially and only Disney Cruise does that. And it's great. So love it. Yeah. Anything else before we wrap it up, sweetheart?
I think I'm going to give a quote from Captain Jack Sparrow. He says, not all treasures is silver and gold bait. So we invite you to find your own Disney treasure.
We needed Pat to record that for us.
Yes. Yes. I couldn't even try to get close to the skill that he has, Pat, from Conversations.
Yeah. He's so good at doing it. Have you ever heard when we had the conversation, what was it, the Thanksgiving conversation between Hondo and Jack Sparrow?
Yeah.
And just Pat doing both voices.
So hilarious.
Yes. I'm not even going to try it either. Not all treasure is silver.